All right, guys, wanted to push out a quick market update. It is Thursday, and we have already seen some pretty decent sized moves. So earlier this week, on the Sunday market breakdown pushed out on Monday morning, we mentioned that we thought euro inflation and the markets being positioned as they were, up there at the $1.24 mids, $1.25 highs. That's where the high was made last week. We thought we would see a pullback a bit, and we did. So if we pull over here into the chart, what you guys will notice is that we assumed what the first level that we were looking at was this minor level here structurally, and I'll draw this up on the daily. It's a little bit more pronounced on the daily time frame. So we were looking at this minor level because at the start of the week, this is where we were sitting. Okay, and so we assumed that we would get a little bit of US dollar strength to come in and a little bit of euro weakness to come in, because we thought that, again, euro inflation is not, it's nowhere around. Okay, we're at 1% inflation. They have a 2% target, and we have the euro increasing in pricing like it's doing. That's going to stifle growth a bit, right? Consumers and businesses are not going to be able to export as much as they want, and the monetary velocity is going to stay low. So we thought that we would see a pull back down into this consolidation. That's what we saw. So this explosion out here, if you guys notice, this massive push outside of that level was because of the retail sales number that came out. And so there was no sustainability. Okay, I mean, if you guys pull over, if we see what happened, so earlier in the week we were long up until this structure there, and then we were looking to go short back down into consolidation once we saw, or once we thought that CPI would come out positive, and it did. It did. We ran right back down into the 2280s, and some of us got stopped out. Some of us took profit down here at these lows. Personally, I got pulled out of this position with a small profit, but then markets ran parabolic against us here, and there was a potential for a loss if you didn't move your stops at all. And this parabolic move against you happened because of the retail sales number that came out. Okay, but there was no sustainability. This move from these lows all the way up here into these highs was a 200-point move, and there were no more buyers aggressively buying once markets broke outside of this high. You had all your aggressive buyers get filled all the way up here into these highs, broke out of the range just a bit, and then boom, you had markets somewhat start to consolidate up there at those highs, right? And so once there was no more buyers willing to buy up here at these highs, well, the next best place, which is amazing, was this next structure here. So we thought that potentially, hey, you might be a little bit, there might be a little bit of risk associated with this level. You want to be careful. It's a minor level, okay, but it's still, markets, if people want to buy these pullbacks quick, you might get a little bit of turbulence at this area, but we still thought we could go short. Brendan has a long-term short idea, that he wanted to play out, and so we thought that, hey, look, we might start to see that add up sometime this week, and now, boom, we're back down into these consolidations. Really, most of the buy-side participants that were looking to go long up here in this structure here, they really liquidated the position. One, or two, they're running at a drawdown or a break-even P&L because there was no more buyers willing to buy. Okay, so really interesting stuff to take a look at. Now on the long term, this is where we're at. Okay, so consolidation-wise, we're still holding the highs of this consolidated move from the low here that was formed after a massive consolidation that really took around 4 months from the 7th. This is August. All the way up until this year, we were consolidated in this Euro USD. Pretty interesting stuff. Now markets have traded higher, and now they're consolidated at a high that was formed in the beginning of the year. Will we break down outside of this high to retouch back onto that previous base? That is what we're looking at. Okay, Janet Yellen did just have her last meeting, and at her last meeting, she mentioned that, hey, I'm still fairly optimistic about U.S. growth. I see 3 rate rises throughout 2018. Some of the Fed sees 2. It's going to be pretty interesting stuff to note, and that is why we saw a decent amount of buy-side participation on the U.S. dollar yesterday, completely reversing the retail sale losses that we had. So again, I'll say it all the time. This market is a macro market, but it's dominated by micro events. The second you think you're going to get this break outside of structure, the next week later, the Fed comes on in and gives the market a bullish sentiment for the U.S. dollar, bringing us right back down in. So that's pretty interesting. What I'm looking at is Euro AUD, again, to kind of continue that whole idea of Euro inflation maybe stifling a bit. Again, Euro AUD, Euro AUD holding the highs right now. Pretty interesting stuff. Maybe we'll get a break outside of that consolidation. We have those that entire setup kind of tagged up in the room. Euro CAD is something that's pretty interesting. We got CAD CPI coming out tomorrow on this larger monthly time frame. As you guys can see, we're sitting at the base of these larger consolidations. Can this Euro CAD continue running higher? Absolutely, but again, if we get any kind of bullish momentum over there on the CAD, we'll see this market capitulate just a bit. Pretty interesting stuff there. And even the USD CAD is looking pretty interesting just because, again, USD CAD, CPI inflation coming out. Only thing that's hurting it a bit is the US dollar strength that is perceived to come on in at the moment. If the US dollar strength wasn't so prevalent, maybe you would actually already have a nice little down move here on the CAD, but as you can see, US CAD has been hemorrhaging a bit from the 25.60s all the way back up into the $1.27 flat. So folks, let's keep an eye on these markets. We're going to be in the top trader community kind of calling these things out. If you guys want to get in that room, just click the link in the description below. But pretty interesting stuff. It does seem like the euro inflation is stifling a bit. Let's keep an eye on these things and see what happens. Now, fundamentally, also, you want to stay tied into what's going on there. Brexit negotiations coming up, so you're going to have a lot to play with over there on the pound. There's just so much happening right now. Q1 2018. Let's see what we get. Okay, guys, look, your profit, always my motive. If you guys need anything, let me know. I'm going to keep monitoring these markets all week long. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.